For all traders, stop trying or expecting to get rich in a few months. Make a plan and focus on the process. Show up every day and put in the effort. Your job is to acquire as much as capital as you can. Study and practice trading with small sizes. The time will come. Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with the daily market recap for December 14th. Please hit the like and subscribe, and let's see the charts. Rate rises by 50 base points as expected by the market, and in reaction, market just made another doji. Price range is getting tighter and tighter between two trend lines. This uptrend line, the upper trend line that holds the lower highs, and this rising trend line that holds the short-term higher lows. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Which trend line will get break first? The yellow one to the upside or the blue one to the downside? QQQ also, price is holding above the 280 and below this blue trend line. Let's see if we can get a break up and continuation inside this short-term uptrend channel. IWM holding above the 178, as we can see this 178 since October, holding as support, failing to hold. We have this double top that we are watching closely. Few videos ago, breaking below the 178, this double top will get validated towards the 172 and maybe all the way back to 164, 163 area. So always follow price, use the levels to manage the risk, and always zoom out to get a better point of view of price action. Dow Jones basically moving sideways also since mid of November above the 335 area, and we have the 347 area as resistance. So let's see where it takes us. We have a small broadening formation here. We can identify it by trend lines. Now let's see where price will take us from here. Breaking below this trend line to the downside, we have this small gap here towards the 328 and maybe even to the 317. Up and above can grind all the way to this trend line, to the orange one. So pay attention for price and follow levels to manage the risk. Always manage risk. This is the only thing that we traders can do. Manage our risk. VIX breaking down and under again this support area. Maybe we are going back to the 1940 area. Let's see. As long as the VIX going down, SPY and friends will go up. XLE closing the gap and now holding above this trend line. SMH still below the 230, 214 as short-term support, 230 short-term resistance. On the weekly, we can see it clear that the 230 is a very strong resistance, 214 strong support. Let's see which one will break first. We have this trend line. SMH broke above the trend line, but still not managing to break up above and close the 230. So once this one will break to the upside, I can expect with high probability the 280 will be the next one. Natural gas closed this gap and now made an inside day. For now we have this trend line overhead that identifies the lower highs and the 590 as the closest support. Crude oil trying to get to this short-term trend line with these lower highs. 74 is the support, breaking below, and we will see this lower yellow trend line getting retested once again. Bitcoin made a move towards the 18,000, tried to break up, failed, back inside, back below the 18,000, and now price, as we can see, we have this trend line that helps us to identify the short-term higher lows. We have the 18K resistance. Price range is getting tighter and tighter. Eventually it will break to the upside or below this one. Once it will break below the blue trend line, we can expect 16,600 and maybe even back to the 15,500, but no one knows. All we know is to follow price and manage risk according to the levels. AMD holding above the 69 area. We have this blue trend line, we have the overhead white trend line. Also here, same as many names across the board, price is basically moving sideways and price range is getting tighter and tighter. NVDA closing the gap to the downside, holding above the 172 area. The 172 was a very important support and resistance throughout 2022. Now let's see if NVIDIA can hold above it. Failing to hold, this trend line will get retested. Apple, once again, basically moving sideways, holding above the 143 area, trying to get back above this trend line. This is a very strong resistance for the bulls, so keep your eyes on it. One more time, one or two more times of failure, and Apple will retest the lower trend line that holds the higher lows since June's low. Tesla, as we learned, Elon Musk sold a bunch of stocks and Tesla continuation to the downside. And in my opinion, and again this is for educational purposes only, never follow blindly anyone on social media. Always do your own due diligence. 136, in my opinion, is inevitable because we have this gap here that needs to get closed, and we know that more than 80% of all gaps will get closed throughout time. Microsoft yesterday broke up and above the trend line. Now inside a doji holding above this trend line. Let's see if we can get continuation above the 260 towards the 273, or if we look left, we will get this kind of breakout and back to the downside. Always look left, follow price, and use levels to manage your risk. Netflix, price range is getting tighter and tighter. This gap is filled. Now let's see if Netflix bulls can break up and above this upper trend line and the 332 area towards the 390, or once bulls will give up, this trend line will get broken to the downside, and these are the levels to the downside that we need to follow towards this trend line here. Shopify managing to hold up inside and above this trend line. We have a short-term uptrend channel, dojis all the way. Now let's see if Shopify can really hold and make a bounce back towards the 45, and maybe third time will be the charm. A new name on my watch list, ESTC. We have a double bottom scenario of the 50.8, 51 area, if you will. We have strong trend line from here. We can also draw it from here. And as we see, every time price reaches this trend line, it makes a doji, and failing to break, we have this gap here. So I assume this gap will get filled before the next attempt to go above this trend line. So this one is on a close watch, because if this double bottom will get validate, we can see 68 and maybe even 73 to the upside. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends, and until the next video, stay safe.